Hey guys, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's upbeat, much more upbeat episode tonight. My name is Stuart Davis. I'm a flawed man of God. I'm a deacon at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm not a pastor, not a biblical scholar, and I haven't been to seminary. I'm not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. What I'm here to do is talk about God, talk about Jesus, talk about the Holy Spirit, talk about the Bible, talk about Christianity, talk about a wide variety of topics, current events, and such that affect us and the viewpoints from Christians like myself in the church and outside of the church. So, if you are somebody who is interested in learning more about Christianity, maybe becoming a Christian, seeking out Jesus, wanting a relationship with God, searching for some meaning to your existence outside of your life here on earth, welcome to the show. Glad you're here. Happy to have you here. Hopefully, you can get some sort of perspective or insight from me. I've been a Christian all my life, 39 years, non denominational Protestant. Don't subscribe to any particular doctrine or denomination, just in the word daily, trying to do a better job. If you are someone who is already a Christian and you just enjoy Christian topics and conversations, welcome as well. I will direct you to the chat where we have a good group of folks who congregate there each night. A lot of regulars, and please be part of that chat. We run this very similar to a Wednesday night study group or a Sunday school um, group where we're kind of hanging out and learning about God at the same time. So if you want to be a wallflower, or if you're like Alias and listening while you're driving this evening, that's great. That's fine. I just the fact that you're tuning in is good enough. But I also encourage you, if you have something to say, share it. Share it with the chat. We would love to hear any type of insight, experience, interpretation that you have on whatever it is we're talking about. Most of the time, we're reading through the Bible, like we will be doing tonight, and it's a small enough community. It's a small enough chat that if you put something out there, I'm gonna read it. So, with that said, let's get this show on the road. So, we had a look. Like I said last night, you got to get it out of the way. You have to address it. You have to put your dues in when it comes to some things, because there is hurt on this planet. There is hurt in life, and we get that grief. We settle on it a little bit. We talk about it. We acknowledge that it exists. We deal with it. We support each other, and then we move past. Because what I said yesterday as well, it's Advent season. This is a time of great celebration and joy, things that a time where we should be um, happy and joyful, because the Lord has come. That's what we are celebrating. He has done this, and this is our remembrance of his arrival. Whether it's on the 25th of December, who cares? What's important is that we make a time date and we set it and we celebrate it. That's our time to remember things. And I love that it's an entire season that really kicks into it starts after Thanksgiving, but it really kicks in once the calendar turns over in December, where the lights start to go up. I love Christmas. I love that my wife loves decorating, loves the Christmas decorations in the house, and I just like being around it. The kids are happy, and it's just great. So Nico is first in the chat. We missed you last night, buddy. Alias, I saw that you were going to be listening and driving tonight. Be safe in wherever you're traveling, whether it's something mundane or someplace special, whatever it is. Just be good in your be safe in your travels. Nico, hello, Stuart. Hope you were doing good today. I caught up with the stream last night this morning. Yes. Glad you picked up on that. It's one worth listening to. And I got a little bit of feedback from folks who I know that don't normally, or that I don't know normally, tune into the stream. A couple of likes where I didn't expect it. So And that's what it is. Sometimes these topics, they reach out to other people. Not everybody's really interested in knowing what's going on in the Bible when I'm reading it. Though I think it's something interesting. One of the things that I was pondering over as I was starting tonight's stream and I was writing it, it would the it comes over, and maybe I should have come up with a better draw for my titles of my Bible streams, but I like consistency and I like orderly um, organization. So I like what I do. It's a Flaw Man's take on the Bible. And here's what episode it is, and which book, and which chapters we're going over, and then I put it in the description. And the description tonight is, Nathan delivering his great rebuke. Right. So this is action that's happening. There's something, but you can go back through so many, especially where we're at in here. The ark arriving in Jerusalem, David's victory lap after consolidating things. Scroll down a little bit. The beginning at 1 Samuel. Let's see. David running away from Saul. Like there's plenty of things happening, and to me, it's like, I was like, this would draw me in. This actually would draw me in if I was looking for something to listen to, as it has for you guys as well. So, like I said, appreciate all of the views and all the participation. And I'm glad that sometimes when I do these uh, off Bible reading topics, that it gets a little bit different attention from some other folks. That because I post this on Facebook, on the Flawed Man page, on my personal page, on YouTube. I used to do it on Twitter, but Twitter's broke. So anyway, um, Blaine's here. Well, hello, Blaine. Nika saying thanks for the stream last night. I'm one of those who feels bad but don't know what to do. Nico, like I said, you're not alone. I think that's most of us, folks who have been through loss and who are grieving, not knowing what to say to somebody else. There's difficult words. So that's why I said one of the best sermons my old pastor ever gave was that one where he goes, sometimes it's good just to not say anything at all, just be there or be quiet. Just ask them if you can pray for them, if you can pray with them, pray over them, whatever. Especially if it's a believer, that means a lot, and it helps put them in a good place. Blaine said, I'll do you one better. How about losing a family member you're apathetic about and having a whole congregation keep offering condolences and you just sitting there waiting for the potluck? Um, um, I have a very close one to that. I have a very close one to that. Sitting thinking, gee, thanks, lady, but you seem more broken up about this than me. Blaine, now I was 8 years old when my grandfather died, but he was not a good person. So it was, and he wasn't much part of my life. And so I've got another one other than that. But yeah, we're not focusing on death tonight. Well, I take that back. We're going to do one thing. And let me find it. I should go on Twitter. So there's a streamer, a YouTuber. I don't know if he's a streamer. There's a YouTuber. He is a kid. And where is mine? He is in palliative care, which is one step away from hospice. And his goal is to reach 100,000 subs. Of course, it looks like he already did it. 141,000 subs. Go subscribe to his channel. He wanted to get 100,000 subscribers before he reaches the end. And it looks like they did it already. But go subscribe to it anyway. I think he'll appreciate any and every subscriber he gets from this one. And he went from not many subscribers to a bunch. The let me post it here. Back in the box. Go sub to it. And that's good. That's good. Try to make something. Yeah, he's the Depp boy. Trying to make put some good cheer into people who don't have a lot of cheer in their prospects. So I don't know anything about him other than the fact that he's sick, and it's not good. It's not a good prognosis, especially if you're in palliative care. But it didn't take long to get that sub count rolling. So good for him, and good for you guys. Any of you who did it. Yeah. Blaine said, "Rip and tear." Oh, I know this story. Nico said he reached it. Yep. I hadn't checked it. At all today. But he made a video about it, which is good for him. Good for him. God loves kids. He does. Though, and we're gonna try to stay positive tonight. Tonight's a heavy one. Because we've got some. This is gonna be some heavy narrative in this part of the Bible tonight. And when we left off last week, David had done something really stupid, followed by something really stupid. And I don't know if he thought he was going to get away with it or not, but he didn't. He saw a woman bathing, liked what he saw, inquired about it, was told that she was somebody's wife, and he didn't care, had her invited her up to his room, and they did the dirty deed. She got pregnant. Oh no, he says, this is not a good look. We need to make it look like it's your husband's, who is a great soldier and commander in his armies. So he calls him in, here's a special dinner with me, blah blah blah. Pulls him off of the front lines, out of the war zone, having dinner, and he goes, "Why don't you go home for your wife?" He goes, "Yeah, okay." And he goes, "Well, but I'm going to go home, kind of, but I'm actually going to just sleep outside the walls because showing solidarity for my comrades in arms who are in the trenches fighting. I'm not going to enjoy my time if they're not enjoying their time." What kind of message would that send? David's like, the message that this plan of mine is not working. So day 2, he gets them really drunk, sends them back, tries to do the same thing. The man is a dedicated soldier. He is a man of his troops. So he stays there, does the same thing, sleeps outside the gate, does not sleep with his wife. The whole plan is shot at this point, right? Yes, Nunez, he was one of David's mighty men. He was one of the OG followers when he was running from Saul in the desert. David knew this guy personally, probably. Not so personally because he didn't know who his wife was. He had to ask who Bathsheba was. Bathsheba. She was just Sheba. Though this is playing on Blaine's on Blaine's code. She was just Sheba, but after the bath, they decided they were just going to call her Bathsheba. And but what does he do now? By the way, welcome Nernath. I feel like it's been a lot of streams without you here. But it's like our schedules haven't been lining up well. David's plans are shambles, right? Because maybe he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. Maybe he didn't do what he was supposed to do. So, what do? Well, David's idea is instead of confessing, instead of asking for forgiveness, which, look, the actions that he took have very severe consequences when you apply Levitical law. Cut off from your people. So he sends a note to his commander, our very scrupulous and honorable Joab, and says, "Hey, send this man Uriah the Hittite into the thick of it, into the thick of it. Then where the fighting is fiercest, and then withdraw your men and leave him behind." And so Joab does this at the cost of many soldiers, but Uriah does fall in battle, and they send word back. David is okay with it. You know who's not okay with it? God. God's not okay with it. Obviously, broke a few of the big rules. Adultery, murder, call coveting thy neighbor's possessions. Put that one in there too. And a lot of little ones along the way as well. Kid's still coming. She's still pregnant. So he marries her, right? Brings her in the house, marries her. She can be there with Michael the childless, and Michael the childless Baptist, and the other ladies as well. And they can have they're going to have a kid, right? Let's see how this works. So Nico says, I mean, the soldier's wife sinned equally. No. Yes. She did. Or, I don't know. I'm not sure if this is I'm not going to do a bunch of great analysis. Bathsheba is not innocent in this. She sinned as well, right? She cheated on her husband. She made the decision. We covered this because there's the big egalitarian lie that David raped Bathsheba with zero biblical support other than they like to so my power dynamics. Okay, it wasn't that he was just powerful, charismatic, good-looking, athletic, war hero, king, chosen by God, all these things. She didn't just, go, okay. Much more likely, especially in the fact that if it was rape, that would have been, they would have been sure to note that. So yes, Bathsheba is not innocent in this. She is very much culpable. So let's see how they do. But she is not David. She is not king over Israel. She is not anointed. She is not the subject of things, though she does play a very important role. And we'll cover that presently. 2 Samuel chapter 12, Nathan rebukes David. Now, Nathan, remember, he's a prophet, right? He is a man. He is a mouthpiece of God. And he's pretty cool. So, The Lord, chapter 12, the Lord sent Nathan to David. Man's got a mission. When he came to him, he said, there were two men in a certain town, one rich and the other poor. The rich man had a very large number of sheep and cattle, but the poor man had nothing except one little ewe lamb he had bought. He raised it and grew up with him and his children. And it grew up with him and his children. It shared his food, drank from his cup, and even slept in his arms. It was like a daughter to him. Now a traveler came to the rich man, but the rich man refrained from taking one of his own sheep or cattle to prepare a meal for the traveler who had come to him. Instead, he took the ewe lamb that belonged to the poor man and prepared it for the one who had come to him. David burned with anger against the man and said to Nathan, as surely as the Lord lives, the man who did this must die. He must pay for that lamb 4 times over because he did such a thing and had no pity. Nathan, meanwhile, is given the Justin Timberlake gift face. Then Nathan said to David, you are the man. This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I anointed you king over Israel, and I delivered you from the hand of Saul. I gave your master's house to you, and your master's wives into your arms. I gave you all Israel and Judah. And if all of this had been too little, I would have given you even more. Why did you despise the word of the Lord by doing what is evil in his eyes? You struck down Uriah the Hittite with the sword and took his wife to be your own. You killed him with the sword of the Ammonites. Now, therefore, the sword will never depart from your house, because you despised me and took the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be your own. This is what the Lord says. Out of your own household, I am going to bring calamity on you. Before your very eyes, I will take your wives and give them to the one who is close to you. And he will sleep with your wives in broad daylight. You did it in secret, but I will do this thing in broad daylight before all Israel. I think God saying that I will do this. I will allow this thing to happen. Nathan coming in hot with words from the Lord. Righteous fury at a formerly, up to this point, righteous man who is sitting in a bowl full of sin. Not this time. Think about this. When we think about what Saul did that irritated the Lord, and Lord told us back, we were talking about pride, disobedience, foolishness. It doesn't feel like it's on the same level of adultery, murder, cover up, right? Not only that, David had been given, like, I gave you your master's house to you and your master's wives into your arms. I gave you all Israel and Judah. And if all this had been too little, I would have given you even more. That's big. Lay that guilt on thick. Right there. Just like concrete, just building that brick wall of guilt, all that weight on him. And this is coming from the worst possible place that you could want to hear it from. What I want to know, the rich man had a very large number of sheep and cattle, i.e. wives and concubines. Who were the heifers? Just kidding. This is big. And I don't know if he told him this in public in public, or if he told him this in private, probably private. But no matter what, David's got to be feeling the eyes of God on him heavily. So how does David react? We talk about this. How does David react versus how does Saul react? Well, not all that different at first, because Saul said something very similar. Then David said to Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. Nathan replied, the Lord has taken away your sin. You are not going to die. But because by doing this, you have shown utter contempt for the Lord, the son born to you will die. After Nathan had gone home, the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife had borne to David, Bathsheba, and he became ill. David pleaded with God for the child. He fasted and spent the nights lying in sackcloth on the ground. The elders of his household stood beside him to get him up from the ground, but he refused, and he would not eat any food with them. So, heavy consequences. Heavier consequences. Any parent would tell you, don't take what I have. I'm sorry, take what I have, don't take my kids. Don't take my kid. Turn your back on me like God, like you did to Saul. Don't take my kid. But Dave, again, what's the VeggieTales version, Blaine? But again, Saul's issues at first was disobedience and pride and foolishness, right? This is a man that people know to be righteous, and now he has ruined the example that he is setting for other people. He did this after many great gifts from God. And he had so much, but he didn't have the one thing. And who knows if there were other motivations behind this than that. Did he want Bathsheba more because she belonged to somebody else, or what? It doesn't matter at this point. What he did, God believed, required a hefty price. What's going on, Dresden? Blaine said Larry is David and likes duckies in the bath. Sheba? He sends Junior Asparagus into the Great Pie War so he can take his ducky. Oh, man. If only the writer behind that didn't turn into such a horrendous egalitarian D-bag. Nico. Always good with Nico with the questions. Love this. But that's an interesting question. What of happening of the unborn kid? Did the kid bear any of the sins of David? Did the baby not deserve to be born? The baby was born, because we just don't cover it, right? The Bible doesn't talk about it, but the son born to you will die. Born. He's already been born. The Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife had born to David, and he became ill. I don't know how old the child is. I can't remember if they say it or not. We'll find out, but there we go. So the child is ill. God has said what's going to happen through Nathan. And David's doing what he can to try to make up for what he's done. But what was David doing before he got called out? Acting like it was no big deal. Trying to pretend it didn't happen. Nobody knows this. I got away with it, right? Now he's fasting. Now that his child's life was on the line, now he's fasting. He's been found out. And who wouldn't? Look, I'd be right there doing the same thing. I'd be doing the same thing. Fasting, praying, pleading, begging, doing whatever it is it took to sway God in my favor, as many parents of sick kids have done. Nico, but the point is the son of David seemed to be predestined by the sins of the father David. Is that how it works? Predestined's an interesting. All right, I'm not. Look, I'm not going to pick on Calvinists. There's plenty of great Calvinist jokes out there that are tongue in cheek, that are funny just because of the nature of the difference between Calvinist and non-Calvinist, the Reformed and the whatever they call the non-Reformed. I don't know. But this predestination, the elect, everything's already decided before you're even born, et cetera, et cetera. He's not necessarily predestined, but David's actions are what bring this about, right? David's actions are what bring this about. And unfortunately, the child is serving as an example of punishment. Now, is God condemning the child to hell? No. I don't think any of this any of what this chapter illustrates points to that. So this is, again, like I said, God loves kids. Does. The innocence, even that they sin, the fact that everything about them is guileless and honest. Loves little kids. So, but we're not even through the first chapter, right? So let's find out what happens. The elders of his household stood beside him to get him up from the ground, but he refused, and he would not eat any food with them. On the seventh day, the child died. David's attendants were afraid to tell him that the child was dead, for they thought, while the child was still living, he wouldn't listen to us when we spoke to him. How can we now tell him the child is dead? He may do something desperate. David noticed that his attendants were whispering among themselves and realized the child was dead. Is the child dead? He asked. Yes, they replied, he is dead. Then David got up from the ground. After he had washed, put on lotions, and changed his clothes, he went into the house of the Lord and worshipped. Then he went to his own house, and at his request, they served him food, and he ate. His attendants asked him, "Why are you acting this way? When the child was alive, you fasted and wept. He wept. But now that the child is dead, you get up and eat." He answered, "While the child was still alive, I fasted and wept. I thought, who knows? The Lord may be gracious to me and let the child live. But now that he is dead, why should I go on fasting? Can I bring him back again? I will go to him, but he will not return to me." This is basically David saying, let me read what Nerneus said first. Let me read what Nerneus said first. If we want to look forward, David did call out his own punishment here. He ended up losing 4 kids. And then answers Nico, the kid got punished for David's sin. David said it was fair to have to pay 4 times for his sin, and the kid was part of that punishment. Not the kid's fault, but sin affects others too. Yes. The actions that you take can oftentimes lead to big consequences. This may be the cost of this may be the cost of one, sinning, and two, we can't. God has plans for David. God has things that he wants David to do. And he can't be separated from his people over what he's done. But there still needs to be punishment, severe punishment. In essence, a life for a life. And what we're getting ready to read, the only life at that point remains is the child in the folks involved. David, Bathsheba, and the child. Bathsheba still has a part to play. Yeah, and Nernaeth asked, yeah, but why is the kid got punished for David's sin? It's kind of like the kid is going to jail for dad's crimes. He is being punished, right? He is being punished for his dad's crimes. And what worse punishment could I imagine than my kid being punished for my failures? What weight does that put on me? What guilt does that put on me? What do I do? It's enough to break a man, big time. And Nernaeth replies, because life is not fair and we live in an imperfect world. Drunk drivers go out and kill innocent people all the time while the drunk survives. We can choose the sin, not the consequences. It's a difficult thing to wrap your head around, Nico. I'm not trying to I'm not calling you out on anything in that. I mean, these are good. You, like I said, you bring nice, genuine, good questions. At the end of the day, it highlights the injustice of Christ being punished for our sins. Good one, Nernaeth. Thank you. Thank you for putting that out there. And here's where David's time, and maybe this really brings David back down to earth, and gets his head in the game a little bit more. And it's sad that it took this to happen. After this has happened, David goes up, eats, cleans, goes and worships, and gets back into kind of the routine of being David. And his attendants and his servants are like, what are you doing? I was like, aren't you sad? You were beside yourself when the child was alive. What about now? And David basically said, look, I was doing my part honestly. I was doing my part to try and save my kid from suffering from my problems. And God didn't disagree. God did not grant me my request. He did not do what I asked and pleaded for. So my son is gone. I can't bring him back, but I will go to him. So David has said, okay, God, I understand. This is David taking responsibility for his actions, even though somebody else had to bear the consequences. The weight of what happens to him and what he does really shows David cares, right? And this is where, again, David doesn't go back. David doesn't give up and just go into be like, oh, I guess God hates me now. I guess I'll just do whatever I want now. No, he understands. I mean, God said his piece. He's punished me. The punishment is not over, but that doesn't mean I get to break loose. This doesn't mean I'm not accountable still. I don't still have responsibilities. That doesn't mean God hates me. This doesn't mean that God will not forgive me, not accept me, and it doesn't mean I don't still have a job to do. And it doesn't mean I don't still love God. But God uses that to satisfy his justice to offer us forgiveness, more or less. Let's continue. Then David comforted his wife Bathsheba, and he went to her and made love to her. She gave birth to a son, and they named him Solomon. The Lord loved him. And because the Lord loved him, he sent word to through Nathan the prophet to name him Jedediah. There we go. Solomon, Nico, big time. Right? Solomon is huge in the Bible, in the Old Testament, just like David. And why does God love him? Maybe in part for the way that David behaved. Not in David's sin, but in the way that David accepted his punishment and moved on, instead of regretting his punishment and giving up. Nernaeth says, in a way, the fact that we cannot understand the punishment here gives hope that in the same God punishing Christ for my sin can satisfy. Wait, Nernaeth, hold on. In a way, the fact that we cannot understand the punishment here gives hope that in the same God punishing Christ for my sins can satisfy my debt for sin. Most of us would say it is not fair. Certainly not fair for Christ. Just goes to show we do not have a full grasp of what true justice is. We are a fallen, shattered, and broken people. Meanwhile, Joab, this guy, fought against Rabbah of the Ammonites and captured the royal citadel. Joab then sent messengers to David saying, I have fought against Rabbah and taken its water supply. Now, oh no, water law. They've been illegally gathering in water, collecting water. Now muster the rest of the troops and besiege the city and capture it. Otherwise, I will take the city and it will be renamed. It will be named after me. Well then, I don't know what that's all about. That's a little weird. So David mustered the entire army and went to Rabbah and attacked and captured it. David took the crown from their king's head and it was placed on his own head. It weighed a talent of gold, that is about 75 pounds. Good night. It weighed a talent of gold, and it was set with precious stones. David took a great quantity of plunder from the city and brought out the people who were there, consigning them to labor with saws and with iron picks and axes, and he made them work at brick making. David did this to all the Ammonite towns. Then he and his entire army returned to Jerusalem. Joab got his comeuppance too for his part in this. First and Second Samuel would make good HBO political intrigue show. There are plots and lots of foreshadowing and revenge. Anybody but HBO doing it, however, because we all know HBO would find a way, like many other spots, like many other channels and networks, to wokeify this. So if HBO did this, it wouldn't be David and Bathsheba, it would be David and Jonathan. And we all know that would be disgusting. This justice also shows how desperately we need the mercy and grace from Jesus' sacrifice. Oh yeah. And to handle it the way David does. Yeah, thankfully no Pet Cemetery plot with David this time. Yeah, he's not trying to talk to mediums. Though David's problems are not over. And we're going to get into that with chapter 2 or chapter 13, Amnon and Tamar. Things are going to get a bit weird here. In the course of time, Amnon, son of David, fell in love with Tamar, the beautiful sister of Absalom, son of David. Wait, hold on, you say. Amnon is a son of David, and Absalom is a son of David. That makes them brothers. Half brothers, probably. Lots of wives, lots of concubines, lots of kids. His half brother's sister. So his half sister, maybe. But Absalom's full sister. Amnon became so obsessed with his sister Tamar that half sister, with his sister Tamar, that he made himself ill. She was a virgin, and it seemed impossible for him to do anything to her. Now Amnon had an advisor named Jonadab, son of Shimei, David's brother. Jonadab was a very shrewd man. He asked Amnon, "Why do you, the king's son, look so haggard morning after morning? Won't you tell me?" Amnon said to him, I am in love with Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. Yeah, try to play it down like it's not your half sister too. Go to bed and pretend to be ill, Jonadab said. When your father comes to see you, say to him, I would like my sister Tamar to come and give me something to eat. Let her prepare the food in my sight so I may watch her and then eat it from her hand. I don't know what Jonadab's intentions are here, but it really sounds like he's complicit in a plot to commit incest. Conspiracy to commit incest. So Amnon lay down and pretended to be ill. When the king came to see him, Amnon said to him, I would like my sister Tamar to come and make me some special bread in my sight so I may eat it from her hand. And David believes it because, as you guys, all you fellas out there, and I know, man flu is real. Okay. And clearly Amnon was pretending to have man flu. So Nico, and straight into incense law. And David's house. This is all happening within David's house, right? His palace, his family, etc. His kids. On No Jumper, this is Blaine. On No Jumper, they had a guest talk to Adam 22 and Destiny about Christ. Watching him explain that what we view as small and big sins are all sins to God, and their faces not getting it. Yeah, well, I have my opinions on Destiny. I don't know Adam 22. But People don't understand it. A lot of people don't know their place. It's the self-centeredness, right? Yeah, I've screwed up, but it hasn't been that bad. You might be right. It's still bad. It's still some bad. And this is against the wishes of our deity, right? Our creator, our father, all these things. And they're rules for a reason. Was a great example of the real issue people have that Nerneus showed. Yeah. So Amnon asked for some special bread while faking man flu. David sent word to Tamar at the palace, go to the house of your brother Amnon and prepare some food for him. So Tamar went to the house of her brother Amnon, who was lying down, faking it. She took some dough, kneaded it, and made the bread in his sight and baked it. Was it unleavened bread or was there yeast? Then she took the pan and served him the bread, but he refused to eat. Send everyone out of here, Amnon said. So everyone left him. Then Amnon said to Tamar, bring the food here into my bedroom so I may eat from your hand. And Tamar took the bread she had prepared and brought it to her brother in his bedroom. Probably conspicuous, probably suspicious. But when she took it to him to eat, he grabbed her and said, come to bed with me, my sister. Nernath, I'm just saying, he got rid of the people and called her into a private room. Wouldn't you kind of get a hint? Yeah, also the fact that he acts weird whenever you're around. Maybe she just thinks he's a weirdo because yeah, he's so awkward and weird whenever he's around her. Maybe that's why. So, no, my brother, she said to him, don't force me. Such a thing should not be done in Israel. Amen, woman. Don't do this wicked thing. What about me? Where could I get rid of my disgrace? And what about you? You would be like one of the wicked fools in Israel. Please speak to the king. He will not keep me from being married to you. What? What? But no, no, no. Yes, he would. Yes, he absolutely would. Because you ain't supposed to be doing it. It's in the law. And we know that David's already been reminded. Mm. But he refused to listen to her. And since he was stronger than she, he raped her. Again, the Bible being clear when rape happens. Did not say anything about this with David and Bathsheba. Here, yes. He was stronger than her and he raped her. Then Amnon hated her with intense hatred. In fact, he hated her more than he loved her. Amnon said to her, get up and get out. No, she said to him, sending me away would be a greater wrong than what you have already done to me. But he refused to listen to her. He called his personal servant and said, get this woman who is your sister, who 5 seconds ago was, come to bed with me, my sister. Now it's get this woman out of my sight and bolt the door after her. So his servant put her out and bolted the door after her. Woo. So his servant put her out of the door and bolted the door after her. She was wearing an ornate robe, for this is the kind of garment the virgin daughters of the king wore. Tamar put ashes on her head and tore the ornate robe she was wearing. She put her hands on her head and went away, weeping aloud as she went. Hey, Neo, long time no see. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the show. Blaine, going back to the discussion between destiny in the guy. You think the gays are going to hell? Response: I think everyone is going to hell without Christ. Oh, nice answer. Renee said, I think G's against G's are pretty based in some ways. I think they're trying to protect their own brand, not necessarily. I don't know. I think there's a lot. I don't want to get into this conversation. I think I understand where many of them are coming from in this, though. Nico said, but devil's advocate, would you ever think of your brother graping you, even if he is being a little weird? That's what I'm saying. Maybe look, she's a virgin. She's, she's got a lot of brothers and sisters probably. And there you go. Nirnaeth, awful. Only if there was a washing machine involved for reasons. Yeah, look, I thought about it. I didn't think it was appropriate for the I didn't think the meme was appropriate for the show. I'm not getting into this. Feels like it's been forever. Hey, look, however long it's been. Look, we had Wild Weeb show up last night. However long it's been, you're here now. Welcome. So, here we go. Oh, I'm sick. Oh, please make your special bread for me. Can you get rid of everybody? It's just send everybody away. I'm not feeling good. I just don't want to be. I just want you to make me the bread and feed it to me in my bedroom. Completely not suspicious or anything. Get there. All right, let's do it. No, we shouldn't do it. We can't do it. This is the part where it kind of confuses. Please speak to the king. He will not keep me from being married to you. Maybe she's trying to bargain her way. Maybe she knows rape is imminent, right? And she's just trying to buy time. Because it seems, don't force me. Don't do this thing. This is a wicked thing. Don't do it in Israel. I will be disgraced and you'll be disgraced. She's trying to figure a way out of this. What maybe you just wait until we get married. Nope. No, he doesn't care. He refused to listen and rapes her. Just like that. Not even worried about crumbs in the bedroom. Degenerate. There you go. Oh, Blaine calling Neo out. Speak of incest and the algorithm brings in Neo. Awful. That's terrible. Caleb, welcome to the show. Lamals. Her brother. Ugh. All right, so after this is all said and done, after he's raped her, he's disgusted by probably his own actions and the fact that she is a reminder of his own actions. And so he tells her to get out. And she's like, no. You've done this. You've got to take some responsibility for what's going on here. Nope. No, get out, woman. He had her thrown. He raped her. He conned the king into sending her to him. Had her make him food. Raped her after she tries to get out of this. Rapes her and then has her thrown out of the house. This is his sister. Oh, Caleb. Oh, this is that Caleb is Neo anymore. Good thing I'm not now anymore. I know you're Neo. You mean Neo. Like, who wrote this? And did God tell them directly, or is this like a transcript from the case? Samuel wrote it from the grave. So Tamar is a woman, a disgraced woman, and definitely acting on it. She puts ashes on her head, tears her ornate robe, puts her hand on her head, crying she has lost her ever loving mind. And understandably so. Her brother just raped her and then had her thrown out. Her brother Absalom said to her, "Has that Amnon, your brother, been with you? Be quiet for now, my sister. He is your brother. Don't take this thing to heart." And Tamar lived in her brother Absalom's house, a desolate woman. She's a she's a victim of rape. She's a victim of rape within the house, within her family. Nico, I don't get the ashes on the head. Um, this is a um this is kind of like tearing your clothes, ripping out your beard, this putting on sackcloth. These are all signs of distress, sorrow, different things that they're doing culturally. Putting the ashes on the head is a sign of shame and remorse, right? Humility. They're humbling themselves. A lot of these things that they do, these are cultural actions to express um, express how they're feeling. So that's the ashes on the head. So Absalom's trying to comfort her. Don't blame yourself. This is not, and he allows her to live with him in his house because she's his full sister, and he cares a great deal about her. Clearly, ashes is traditional mourning in Jewish culture. Are they called Jewish at this point or Nation of Israel? I think they're Israelites still. Hebrews. I think they might be Hebrews. I don't know where all this stuff switches. Nika says, head isn't like with faces too. Got it. Thought it was a pile of ash on top of the head, like on the hair. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about the culture, Nika, to tell you one thing. I just know contextually where it's coming from. When King David heard all this, he was furious, and Absalom never said a word to Amnon, either good or bad. He hated Amnon because he had disgraced his sister Tamar. Verse 23, Absalom kills Amnon. 2 years later, when Absalom's sheep shearers were at Baal Hazor near the border of Ephraim, he invited all the king's sons to come there. Absalom went to the king and said, "Your servant has had shearers come. Will the king and his attendants please join me?" "No, my son," the king replied. "All of us should not go. We would only be a burden to you." Although Absalom urged him, he still refused to go, but gave him his blessing. Then Absalom said, "If not, please let my brother Amnon come with us." The king asked him, probably suspiciously, why should he go with you? But Absalom urged him, persuading. So he sent with him Amnon and the rest of the king's sons. Absalom ordered his men, "Listen, when Amnon is in high spirits from drinking wine, and I say to you, strike Amnon down, then kill him. Don't be afraid. Haven't I given you this order? Be strong and brave." So Absalom's men did to Amnon what Absalom had ordered. Then all the king's sons got up, mounted their mules, and fled. While they were on their way, the report came to David. Absalom has struck down all the king's sons. Not one of them is left. The king stood up, tore his clothes, and lay down on the ground, and all his attendants stood by with their clothes torn. But Jonadab, son of Shimea, shows up like Jafar. David's brother said, "My lord should not think that they killed all the princes. Only Amnon is dead. This has been Absalom's express intention ever since the day Amnon raped his sister Tamar. My lord the king should not be concerned about the report that all the king's sons are dead. Only Amnon is dead." Meanwhile, Absalom had fled. Now the man standing watch looked up and saw many people on the road west of him, coming down the side of the hill. The watchman went and told the king, "I see men in the direction of Horonaim on the side of the hill." Jonadab said to the king, "See, the king's sons have come. It has happened just as your servant said." As he finished speaking, the king's sons came in, wailing loudly. The king, too, and all his attendants wept very bitterly. Absalom fled and went to Talmai, son of Ammihud, the king of Geshur. But King David mourned many days for his son. After Absalom fled and went to Geshur, he stayed there 3 years. And the king David longed to go to Absalom, for he was consoled concerning Amnon's death. I love, yeah. Yeah, here we go, bro. Like David, like son. This is more like Joab and his brother, only way more justified. Kinslaying is a big deal, though. Ashes are probably the easiest to discolor yourself. Dyes are expensive and it's darker than normal dirt. You could also wash it as a bonus. Blaine says, picture that meme of the guy dumping sand and having an existential crisis. It's that, but just putting ash on your head. Nerneath, quote of the night. The code word to kill Amnon is kill Amnon. When I tell you, look, when he's drunk, I'm going to give you the code password. I mean, I'm going to give you the secret code, and that'll be your sign to kill Amnon. What's the code, sir? Kill Amnon. If you don't have access to fancy different clothes, Blaine, it's best to keep it easy. Probably why people washed their face when they wanted to get ready to meet people when they had been mourning. Probably. Now I'm picturing a closet full of tan robes and the reddish sashes from the flannel graph Jesus. Jonadab, the nephew who gave Amnon the advice. Dude, exactly. But maybe Jonadab, I don't know. It's hard to figure out what's going on in everybody's head, but Jonadab is the voice of reason here at the end. He said, they come back with this report. Absalom's killed all of your sons and fled. David loses his mind, right? And I assume Solomon's somewhere in this group too. Maybe not. And he says, so he is beside himself. His attendants, they're mourning with him. They're all upset. I think one of the good things that Nick does is talk about how open the men in the Bible are with their feelings. Culturally, it is a big thing. They are very Um, extreme how they rip their clothes, they tear their beard hair out, they throw ash, they dress themselves in sackcloth. It's very deliberate and out there. So, but while they're all doing this, Jonadab comes up and goes, "King." Wild speculation on that. You're listening to rumors. Look, we all know Absalom. He goes, he probably said, "My king, you know and I know that Absalom only had it in for Amnon. And he's had it in there. Stop it, Nernath. Go away." Um, we know that Absalom's had it in for Amnon because he raped his sister, who was his sister. Porcupine Pine says, "I'll watch the replay. About to sing Johnny Cash to the daughter. Good night, all." Good night, Porcupine. Hopefully you sound great. And Blaine asks, which Johnny Cash song is he going to sing to his daughter? And Nernaeus says, "I only know The Gambler." No Sabaton for you, Nernaeus, for a week. For a week, that is your punishment. Small groups should all have a chat function so you can finish the lesson and not have people forgetting what they wanted to comment. Blaine, if as I understand it from 9 Inch Nails, I'm trying to remember the singer's name. Uh, once Cash sang his version of "Hurt," they said it belonged to he said it belonged to Johnny Cash at that point. I like both versions. Open with your feelings is not equal to be a baby. Hard lesson for modern men. So Blaine and I, so we're wrapping up. We're getting close to wrapping up. Blaine and I've been watching some anime. I finished the Bleach, almost all of Bleach. I still have to I still have to watch the 1,000 Year Blood War. I think that's the name of it, 1,000 Year Blood War. And I was watching Demon Slayer. Just started watching Demon Slayer. I think I'm 8 episodes in now. And main character is an absolute mess of emotions. And when I say mess of emotions, he just cries a lot. Now he hasn't cried much in this latest one, in the latest couple episodes, or at least it hasn't been so much. But I made a comment that it's like, "Stop crying, stop crying, Shinji." So Blake was telling me, was defending it. He goes, "Look, you might not like it. If you don't like the crying, you might as well just wrap things up and abandon this series right now." But the animation is so good in that show. I love good animation, and it's got animation in spades. So um nope, I only know the one. You don't know any of them, Nernath. You're terrible. Have I told you we went through like 4 churches during our search just because the pastor cried during every prayer? At first, I thought it was just us catching the message that affected them most. Um, our old pastor, would cry occasionally, usually, and occasionally, more so well, maybe a little bit more so than I thought was appropriate. It was never dishonest. He was very much in touch with what's um, very much into the message that he was given, and a lot of it was when he was kind of pulling back. He was pulling up memories of very hurtful, very or not hurtful, very emotional times, very moving times, very tragic times, and I think he did and he was being very honest about it. So. Nah, just shove the internet. Nah, just shove the emotions uh so far down they never come to the surface. Nico says, "Dang, Stuart, you finished Bleach filled with even the fillers." Um, I feel like it needed some more the show proper. Like I said, I think it needed to wrap up where they were all at, right? But I think at the same time it was cool that they just went back to doing what they were doing. He goes back to being the substitute Soul Reaper. Everybody's kind of doing their thing. They're graduating from high school, or they're in their senior year of high school. I can't remember, whatever. And it just leaves it open that they could have a happily ever after, or they could leave it open for more shows, and that's what they do. But Thousand Year Blood War, I'm only a couple episodes into it. That is a graphic show. It is not like the Bleach that we were used to. Bleach starts Bleach is very much a show that kind of that matures, right? The characters age, the characters mature, and so does the animation. The animation gets better to me, it gets better every episode, and and the characters develop, I think, pretty well. The main ones, the very main ones, and the show gets more graphic as well. But man, it is a big step between the end of season 27 and the latest one that just came out. Alias, keep the stream going 20 more minutes, then I'll get to the yard and I'll be ahead of this storm. Okay. I can do that. For you, Alias, I'll do it. And we're already 4 minutes into that. Alias, you message the chat when you get where you need to be, and then we'll wrap up, okay? Blaine said, true. It's what a true cover should be. Sing it to make it yours. So he made it, all of it his. Dude, Cash owns Hurt. Nico says, Nezuko is the best girl. No, but likable, yes. Right now I do have a lot of sympathy for her. Blaine said, he will cry again and again. I defended Shinji crying. Tanjiro is a word I should not say on the stream. You can only cry at Kyoani. I don't know what that is. Shut up and get a robot. No, Shinji's got a tough life, but Shinji's also easy to make fun of. He's also surrounded by beautiful chicks. So it's not that bad. Yeah, you preaching about a lesson that you lost a child to and you need to choke out a prayer, that's fine. Oh, yeah. No. Every closing prayer has you breaking. I don't believe you. I used to listen years ago, many years ago, pre-2009. I listened to Glenn Beck a lot. This was back when Beck was funny, enjoyable. I actually went to one of his live shows in 2006. I took my dad there. I came home for 2 weeks from Iraq. It was for Father's Day. I mean, my time lined up with Father's Day. So since it was Father's Day, We went to go see Glenn Beck. He was a big fan, and we watched him. The show was hilarious. The show was great. After the 2008 election, he went a little crazy. And he went all doom and gloom, and that's when I used to like his show better than Rush. There was a time where I liked his show better than Rush, but then I quickly went back to Rush. Or I mean, I went back to a bigger fan of Rush because Rush knows just knew how to be positive, even when things weren't going his way or when he was worried about things. He always had a positive note. That's what I thought Rush was good. Why he was good for conservatives. He stayed positive. He didn't stop goofing off, and he didn't really let go. The one hiccup he had, which happened before, several years before all this, was the addiction to painkillers. So Blaine says my sister bombed through the original series recently to catch up to 1,000-Year Blood War. Like I was working hard, but I piecemealed my way through that. I took a big break in between things, but was able to catch up. The manga is like 1,000-Year War with the whole time. They tamed it for the anime for a while until now. Like I said, I feel like it grows up. Like it starts off kind of like a preteen show, then eventually becomes a teenager show, then becomes a young adult show. So Nezuko is the best little sister, and mine still thinks we should cosplay them. She's saying that you are a whiny little new Bleach filled with fillers too. I think this is one story arc. I don't know. I haven't looked to see how many episodes it is, but it's just one season. Usually the fillers are a season long, several episodes long in their own season. If I'm Blaine, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's how it is. So I saw that Bleach has, or no, I saw that there's a live action Full Metal Alchemist. Whatever. I need to save some of this stuff for a Friday night stream or a time where I go on the Blaine show and talk about it. Shinji is the director's biggest hate of themselves. He is the worst of humanity. Yeah. He's just a kid who doesn't know what to do with himself. Oh, I'm way behind on the chat comments. New Bleach just started. No time for fillers yet. Yeah. Plus, the Bount arc is the only real filler. I liked the Bount arc. Thought it was good. Thought it was well placed too. And introduced some good things, some cool concepts. There are some terrible filler episodes and filler seasons in Bleach. Nerd can't we talk about something manly like guns? Yes. My sister has never let me succeed without criticism for 29 years. Live Full Metal, we can talk later. Kid equals 30-year-old otaku in Japan. I know. It did look a little weird. There we go. Neo coming in. I love my HK VP9. I need to get another gun. Last one I got was the Smith & Wesson Saint AR platform. Blaine, with typical gun dealer attitude, all your opinions fail before me. I sold guns for 5 years, legally or illegally, he didn't say. All your opinions fail before me. The worst thing about talking to people who are gun gun people is that it's like talking to somebody who does keto or CrossFit or whatever. They don't shut up about it, and their opinions are all better than your opinions. It's the worst. It's like talking to anime fans. You never don't commit a crime. Oh, you have to find one with smaller backstrap, but I like my USP just fine. Got a Wyndham SRC this week. I want to get that. Crap, I think it's SIG that makes a Sidewinder. Because I bought a garbage SNW AR. Okay, it still will kill people. Bet you I can shoot it better than you. Blaine probably only buys Taurus products. Blaine thinks Beretta is the best brand of pistol. Wait, did I miss something? Nico, oh yeah, I kind of felt how Stuart felt in anime talks when I had to sit through the gun talk between between Blaine and Serranos last week. No way, Blaine. No way. I never shoot. And one of those competition guys challenged me to a pistol rifle competition, and I smoked him. Competition guys. The competition guys. Last purchase was Steyr SPP. Like, you got all this money because you can get kids yet. I just found a giant who was selling one for HK prices. I want a better fit. Yeah, HK. Dude. You got to be one of the Koch brothers to afford any Heckler and Koch. Maybe it's not. Here. No, I've got other things I got to do. Blaine, as much as I like this, I gotta unwind. I just did a lot of work today, and I really just want to. Just want to play the MLB The Show until and listen and watch my shows. SIG's always been my brand. Recently, I know the qualities dipped. Nope. Nope. It might not make it anymore. They still doing the P20, T20? What does that look like now? Hey, so this was my first pistol purchase was in 2007. I got a P220R carry Equinox. Look hasn't changed all that much. 45. I like it. That's just the brand. They make. I know a lot of people who are Glock guys. I'm not. I have found Glocks to be incredibly uncomfortable. Not saying they're a bad gun. By all accounts, they're great, but they don't feel right in the hand.
It's not comfortable. That's what I said. But Blaine's in love with Berettas and Tauruses. Those are the only brands that he buys. So I mean, I know I can't compete with it. Oh, I can't find what I wanted to. It was a couple of years ago. I saw it and I liked it. I bet. Nico, you've never shot a gun before? Well, that's because of where you live. You, if you're not in a gang, you just smirched me. You you heretic. I bet you all of Blaine's guns have spoilers on the back of them. And rear diffusers at the base of the handle. Caleb, because they hate guns where he lives. Not that he would. Yeah. The judge has anime waifu custom grips. I've lost more in my leg than you ever know. Yeah, I'm the California gang where they banned everything. They hate everything. They hate all freedom. All right. So here we go. The legend lives on. This is from Alias. The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down to the big lake they call Yichigumi. Yichigumi. Thanks, guys, at the yard. Another trip complete. Winter is coming. Get your bread and milk, East Coasters. Yeah, I got to make my milk sandwiches, Alias. So Blaine says, I do own a Jericho 941. Look. All right, we're gonna slow things down. All right. So Absalon. So let's get back on topic. We're gonna get back on topic when we as we wrap up. So Absalon has Amnon killed with the secret password. Kill Amnon. He flees. The other sons of the king, the other princes, flee. The other sons come home. Absalon flees to where did he say he was? Went to Gesher. Stays there for 3 years, and King David, who is still sad that his incestuous rapist son, Amnon, is dead. Look, losing any kid is tough, and it's particularly hard for David. He still misses his son, his faults aside, but it sounds like he misses Absalom as well. And so that's where we'll wrap up. So tomorrow we'll talk some more about Absalom. And how he's a little bit of an emo edgelord. So imagine your brother murks another brother and you were thinking about all the noogies you gave him. I'd run too. Who's older in all this? That would be interesting. Where's the pecking order here? Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Burp online. It's better than farting on stream, right? Anyways, guys, it's been great. It's been a long stream. We got Alias from point A to point B, and that's a good thing. And he's safe, and we know so. So, with that said, I'm going to close things down, and we can open up tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's Wednesday. I think we're gonna do a stream tomorrow night. I'm trying to think of what my schedule is this week. So yeah. Yeah, so both David and the wife got the same equal punishment, basically. Yeah. Yeah, they don't talk about Bathsheba a whole lot, but again, very integral because without her, we don't get Solomon, right? So to everyone, Caleb, alias Neo, to Nico, Nernath, Blaine, alias Porcupine, catching it on replay, but coming in to say hi and say goodnight to everybody. Man, we had a lot of commentary. Anyone else? Dresden, I saw he came in at some point. There he is. There's Dresden. And there we go. That's the crew tonight. Everybody who's tuned in, everybody who was part of the chat, everybody who subbed to Crack in the Box, say a prayer for the kid. That's always good. And there we go. All right. No Friday this week. That's correct. Going to buddy's concert. As a final thought, remember Jesus comes as a son of David through Bathsheba. Bathsheba, Nernath. Jeez, proofread your chats via Solomon. All right, y'all. With that said, everybody have a very good night. Stay good, and we'll tune in tomorrow. I think I'll be streaming tomorrow. So, with that said, everybody have a very good night, and God bless.